going to be a little longer, and it's going to have a slight curve to it. So watch me go. It's going to start here and has a little bit of a curve like this. It's a little longer, and then you come back up to the top. So always watch it first. You come back up a little higher, kind of where it would connect to the other side. And we're going to bring it down and round the corner. And can you guys see the drawing okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can even see my little soft lines.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now, when you're ready, give me a real thumbs up. So look right at the camera and give me it. There it is. Okay, we'll use that. That's easier. Efficient. Okay, so we have this in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the little belly. Okay. So where the belly comes from is going to be right where the beak starts here, or the snout, and it's going to start out coming down. So watch me draw it first. So it's going to start here and it's going to come down, comes back up where this is, and comes towards the tail, and then hits into the bottom like this. Good, and at any time, if you want to show me your drawing, you can as well. You just have to pick up your iPad and put it over top of your drawing. All right, here we go. Look, ready? Okay, so now we're going to put in the little spot that is around where the eye is, okay? So we're going to come over here, and we're going to come back a little ways, just about right here, and we're going to make a little mark. My little mark is here, okay?
Oh.
That little mark is where the eye is going to be. So you can actually, what you can do is you can turn that little mark into a little oval here, like this. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is just on the other side of that, we're going to take a little, almost like a little rainbow arc and go right around the eye like this. All right, and then Debbie, maybe if you can have, maybe help her, if you can pick up the iPad and maybe hold it over the drawings. And I can take a peek. Now, it's very close. Your beak is probably about this big. So if you can see here, just make it a tiny bit longer, right on the end, okay? Otherwise, your drawing is looking absolutely gorgeous. And it calls it, on this little book, it calls it a nose.
Oh, a nose.
Probably not, shouldn't be calling it a beak. Okay, and once we get that adjusted, let me know. You.
Okay.
All right, let's get the dorsal fin in. So if you look at where the belly is here, from here to here, we're going to go right into the middle of the belly and come straight up here for where the dorsal fin is, okay? So that's where that's going to start. Right where you see the middle of, right where the belly is. You come up, and that's where the dorsal fin starts. So it's going to start coming back and up like this. Actually, it's going to be a little steeper, so just wait a second. Come up a little higher. And the one thing that makes it different than a shark is it's kind of a little softer in the back. So it has a little bit of a rounded part and then cuts back down to his back. Now it's starting to look less like a platypus.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got that. The next thing we're going to draw is going to be the side fin. Okay, so if you come to where the eye is, come down about one eye's distance, and you're going to make a little curve just like this. And then from the bottom of that line, you're going to curve it down like this, so it almost comes back in the belly, but not quite. Okay, and then with the flatter line, we're going to come from the top and come a little straighter and then connect right onto the tip there. Okay, so now we're going to draw the other flipper, and because it's on the other side, it's going to be much smaller. So it's going to start, see where my pencil is here? You're going to move your pencil over about, again, about an eye's distance, and it's going to come down just like this. It's going to round, and then it's going to come back up. Okay, that's the one over on the other side. Just a little bit of it that you can see. You can actually make it a tiny bit larger. There we go. All right, you guys got that okay? Okay, so we're getting pretty close here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some shading, okay? So to make this look really nice, we're gonna do a couple of things first, and then we're gonna do some shading. So the first thing I want you to do is along the bottom here, we want this to nicely, okay? So I want you to erase the bottom of the beak, or the nose, excuse me. Where you kind of erased it, you're gonna smooth it onto the body.
Mom, can you erase my bottom of my nose?
We just need to erase that.
Into the body.
Yeah, you did.
I already, it was connected to the body.
What you're doing right here, you're smoothing it, and right here, you're smoothing it, so the shape goes right onto the body. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to do a couple of erasing parts, and this Chloe knows this very well, so I'm going to put an X right here. That line will disappear, and this line here is also going to disappear. Okay, so I'll erase those out. Here. Only problem is he doesn't really have a mouth. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw on the mouth. So the mouth on the top. So if you were to go in the middle right here, it's going to look kind of funny. So Chloe, look at the screen. It's going to look kind of funny. So you're going to go right down here. So watch my pencil go first. I'm going to go down past the bottom, and I'm going to bring a little mouth just like this. And it's going to come up, and it's going to connect to the belly. Hang on one second. I'm going too quick here. So it's going to go here. And it's going to connect back up to the belly line. Okay, and I know the mouth doesn't connect that far, but it is light tone underneath that line. So I'll show you later what that is. And I have one more little thing for you to erase. It's not the whole thing, but if you look right here, I'm going to put a little line right here. You see the little line I put right here? Let me get it back in focus.
There you go.
Okay, so there's a little line right here. You're going to erase just from here to the eye. Okay, so that little right here is what I'm erasing out. Okay, so now we're going to do a little exercise, okay, so that you're ready for your shading. Hey, Chloe, have you done charcoal yet or not yet?
Charcoal. What's that?
Yeah, so you've done oil pastel at art class, right?
Yeah.
But you have not done charcoal. It's the one that's all black.
Yeah, I haven't done charcoal yet.
So you're going to learn a little bit about values now. So what I want you to do is, I'm trying to think of where I want you to have you do this. Let's do this down in the corner down here. So you remember how we put the water line down here? Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to do this with me, okay? So we're going to draw a little scale, okay? So you're going to draw a nice little box, very small, just like this. This is called a value scale. What values are how light or how dark something is, okay? So it could be a value of blue that's really light, like a sky blue, or a value that's really dark, like an ocean blue that would be very dark, okay? So look up here very closely, Chloe, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do, okay? Okay, so with that little square, or with the little rectangle you put, I want you to put a line right down the middle. And then watch me again when you're done. So look up here. We're going to put another line. We're going to make that the other two boxes now. We're going to put a line down the middle, so we'll have 4 boxes. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do just a little bit of shading in each of these, okay? So anything around the box is going to be white, okay? I want you to put these numbers on here. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to use 5 values. So if you put over here at the end, put a little 0. If we had a 0 value, Chloe, what do you think it would be? If 4 is going to be or dark, what do you think 0 would be?
White.
Exactly, got it. Okay. So now what I want you to do is take your pencil and you're going to fill in the number 1 square as light as you possibly can. Okay, so if you look at mine, you can see it's getting a little darker, but it's still very, very light. You guys see that okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dolphin. Dolphin. And you want this to be your dolphin? Yeah. It is. And don't erase it, Emma. Erase anything.
Did you get it?
Or and make it very dark.
No. I'm gonna do that first.
I'll give you your paper here. Okay. Are you done?
Okay, here we go. So now, if you look at this one, we're going to go back to number 1. I want you to shade it in just like number 1. So shade it in nice and light.
No. This is my drawing. I'll show you how to do it in a second, okay? Let me finish it.
Look at the screen green. So now that these two are kind of matching, I want this one a little darker. So just shade over it one more time so it gets a little darker. Look at mine. You can see how dark I have mine. Let me read. Okay. Now, if you look at these two values, it's going to be a little this and a little lighter than this. So try and match number 2. Make it as dark as number 2. If you have it as dark as number 2, go over it one more time with your pencil without making it as dark as number 4.
Not like Dolphin. Yeah, Mama's gonna. Yeah, this is your dolphin. And I can. Yeah.
Okay, I just added time to the video. I guess we've already gone. What? That's weird. It said we've already gone 40 minutes, but we haven't. Okay. Does your scale look okay? Can you see that this one is the lightest and this one's the darkest and these are a little bit lighter?
Yeah.
Great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little shading. So I want you to start by shading the belly with me in with number 1 value, okay? So the belly here, the whole thing is going to be super duper light. If you want to now, Chloe, you can also get rid of that little guideline that we put at the beginning. So we would just shade over it anyway. But if you want to erase out your little action line or guideline, you can erase that out of there. Maybe leave it down under the tail there.
And
Okay, there we go. All right, so shade that belly in with that number 1 value, okay? Really, really light.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Just like that, all the way down under the chin, really, really light.
All the way down.
Okay, and then we're going to do a little jump here to our darkest value. So this one over here, because it's in the shadows and it's underneath, this little flipper right here is going to be a 4 value. So we're going to make that nice and dark. You can see that already starts to kind of pop the belly out a little bit. Okay, now, the closer fin right here is going to be a 2 value to start with. So I want you to make it a little darker than the belly. You can watch it on. So it's all about pressure or how hard you're pushing with your pencil as to how much is on there. Okay, we want it to be darker than the belly. It shows.
great.
Yeah.
You're done with that. So shading. Oh, and I have one more thing for you to do for your drawing. I just realized too. We're going to erase this little part and this little in the tail right here, this little triangle. Erase it off so the tail connects to the body. And you're going to replace it with a little curve. So let me get this back in focus here. There we go. You're going to replace it with a little tiny curve just like this.
Better.
Yeah, panda.
Better.
Done that, we erase just a little part of this. So I'm going to put a little line here so you can see it. You're going to erase this little back part right here, Chloe, is what you're going to erase.
This is it. Here, I'll get your pizza, okay?
There we go. Ready? Okay, so here we go. So now, we did this with a number 2, this little flipper. The tail is also going to be a number 2. Okay, so you can show that in with a number 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it up.
No.
No.
I take it. I take it. I shake it. I take it.
Mm.
That's right.
Is it, what was it, number 2?
Oh, yeah. So that should pretty much match.
Dad. Go. Go. It's cold. Oh, you want? Mom answer it's cold.
Do you want me to warm it up?
Ready? And then the last thing that's going to be a number 2 is going to be the dorsal fin. So this up here is all going to be shaded in with a number 2. Guys doing okay? Yep. All right. Okay, so Chloe, you remember what a highlight is, right? Remember what a highlight is? Like the little sparkle that we put in the eyes or anything shiny?
Yeah.
We're going to draw a little triangle. So I want you to watch my pencil first. So you're going to draw a little triangle right here.
You let it cool off, okay?
On the nose. You see the little triangle there? And then the nose is going to be shaded in with a number 3, so it's a little bit darker. And the bottom part down here, this bottom part's going to stay light, but the nose itself out is going to be a
Number 1. Number 2. With number 3. Did you forget the panda?
I think we need to make it a little bit more dark.
Ready for the next part?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So the eye is going to be a very dark value, so you're going to fill that in with the number 4.
You want to watch Barbies? Yeah. Mom, you want Barbies?
Little part of the eye.
What? Your stuff?
Wait, what? No, what number was it?
1 value
Number 1.
around the eye. All right. And then the rest of the body So all of this area right here is all going to go into a number 2 value, okay? So you're going to shade it in nice and neat. Make sure it's a little darker than the belly. So if you start along the belly, you should be able to see that it's getting a little darker than the belly.
So darker in the belly.
Darker than the belly is fine. And then you shade the rest of the body in. This will take a few seconds here.
Wait, Anna, wait. Dave, are you there? Dave?
Yeah.
I didn't want her just eating, Chloe.
I'm sorry, baby. Mama said no.
Go on that side.
Want the panda?
Mine looks kind of weird.
I like it better than mine.
No comparing.
Oh, oops. Is this supposed to be?
That's number 1.
I did a number 2.
Is a 4, and then around the eye is a number 1.
I need the research because I can get to it. Think this looks like number 2.
And let's take a look at your pictures. Great job. Go ahead and hold the camera back a little farther. There we go. That's good. Let me click on it. Hold on. To do that is you're going to start along the edge. We're going to start at the top and practice right here. Along the edge, you're going to start with the number 4. Number 4. And as you come towards your number 2, you're going to smooth it into the number 2. So watch me do a little bit first, and then you smooth it in. So you want the edges to get kind of dark. Edge dark, and then I'm going to smooth that this here. You guys see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see how the front of him looks like it's actually round and curvy.
Mm-hmm.
How the back of it still looks very flat. So now, as we go, we're going to work our way back. Even by the dorsal fin, it's going to get darker than the dorsal fin right here. And then it'll shade down into your number 2. So right along the edges, it'll get really dark. Down in the number 2 that's there. And that's why the tail looks kind of fuzzy until we get this shading in there.
Ooh, that looks good. Yeah, the dolphin.
Want to make you skinny?
Oh, you gotta bring.
Now it's starting to work.
You gotta make yours a little bit darker, Chloe, so it blends right into your nose too. You gotta blend it in. There you go.
Okay, and the next thing we want to do is there's a little tiny bit of shading right off of the edge of the belly. So just like we did along the top here, you're going to start right here. Make it a tiny bit darker just down to the bottom. So watch my pencil go here. Just right there, and then smooth that into the body.
This.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll let you guys get that done.
Done.
Done? Okay, so now take your pencil right along the back of the tail. You're almost going to kind of outline it here on the back of the tail, on the top part. You're going to kind of try to get that so it smooths in as well. So you're going to blend it. And Chloe, you would remember this when we did your colored pencils with the blending, where you're we're going to do the same thing along this bottom edge right here. So you're going to make it dark, kind of like an outline. Back towards the middle. All right, then we're going to do water. You will be finished and ready to sign it. So we're going to come in here. This one, I just want you to go back over with your pencil a little bit dark and just outline it, okay? This time, you're not going to actually shade it. We want that to stay nice and clean because this is closer, it's actually farther away. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to actually go along the edge here on this fin. You're going to go very dark. This one, we're only going to put a little bit, and you smooth it from this corner down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can see the bottom of the belly. So I want you to outline this, but only outline it with maybe like a number 2 value. So go very soft, just where the belly line is here, so we can see it okay. Try and smooth that in, it will look nicer. So if you kind of go between a 2 and a 1, and smooth the belly a little bit, just right on the bottom here, it will look nice. And maybe like right in here.
I use that.
Yeah, I have it. I don't need the pencil. Thank you.
Just like that. You guys hanging in there okay?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to turn on my lights. Okay. And then to finish it up, we are going to draw in a little water here, okay? So with the water, You're going to come down to your water line here. First of all, go along your water line with me, and you're just going to take it and make it look a little bit more irregular, which means it's going to be a little bumpy, but you don't want it to be perfect bumps. When you get down underneath the tail, stop. You're going to go from here to here. If you want to do it all the way off the page, you can. And then right here, we're going to draw in some splashes. So with the splashes, you're going to take your pencil, you're going to come up. Down my exposure. Hold on. There we go. You're going to go up, and then you're going to come do a little dip, and then go up. And we'll do a little fork, so it's going to come like this. And then that's going to dip all the way back down into a couple other little splash. This doesn't need to be just like mine, okay? You're just kind of drawing some water splashes. So it doesn't look like it's like frozen water, right? We're going to start adding in little splash droplets. You want them to have variation, and variation means you want some small, you want some big, you want some to go over top of there we go. The sun came back out, so it's messing with my camera. And then let's see, what else do we have? A couple little squiggles here and there, little droplets. And then where this connects, you take the water and continue off to the edge. And then you can actually erase off. I didn't draw this, the picture I'm working from, but you could also add in a couple more layers of the splash of the water. And on this one, actually, it even puts a little bit of clouds. So if you want to put a couple of clouds, you can put the way that it shows it. It's kind of like this. And then you layer them. So then I put another one that kind of tucks behind that. So showing action like it's moving. So those are movement lines.
Mommy. Mommy. Do you have to draw the action movements?
So if you want to add a background and put a bed underneath them like he's sleeping, you can certainly do that. Ride them. Person.
Oh, you're adding a sun.
Yeah, we can add a sun in there. You could actually add a sun back behind the clouds if this is.
Yours is cool. He's shaping it in. It's my son.
You can also draw some little fish swimming down here if you want. So you can continue to work on it as much as you want. The one thing I do want you to do is to make sure you sign your name. On the bottom somewhere.
All right, that looks cool.
Add highlights too. I kind of like to put highlights in, especially on shiny stuff. So one of the things that is not in this drawing is if you take your eraser and you
Hi.
dump it out of the water, he would have a nice glare to him. Those in there, and maybe even one on the dorsal fin.
Wow.
Not bad.
This is easy.
Not bad. Not bad. Not justice. Not bad. Mine.
Don't really steal them. Hmm?
But we're not gonna drop it. That's
Oh,
what
this-
that is.
All right. Before we finish up, do you have any questions, Chloe?
Do you have any questions?
No.
No? Are you sure?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you have
You're
feedback
fine.
as far as it was a little bit hard, or it was,
Did you, what was